Hello everybody, this is Joe the Maniac. It's time for the Maniac2React. It is actually really sunny today for some reason, even though it's really cold. But man, this movie just warms me up. Moana, I just got out from seeing it, and it's probably just like, here's the review right here. There is no better word for me to describe this movie than majestic. Everything about it is fantastic. Visually, it's beautiful. It's so amazing. Dwayne Johnson, obviously, just amazing. Just like it's fun to hear his voice in the movie. And no, I couldn't find any references to The Rock. He wasn't smelling anything they were cooking or anything. Also throwing other Easter eggs out there just to get it out of the way. I didn't really find anything that was like, oh hey, this is for the next Disney movie. Maybe. As far as anything that was referencing other Disney movies, you know, those kinds of Easter eggs. I did find the reindeer? I think it's a reindeer. I'm gonna call it reindeer for now. I found the reindeer from Frozen, and it's only just in passing. It's not really like actually part of the plot or anything. It's just when Maui kept trying to change shape, he used like this giant fish hook from the gods. It's pretty cool. But as he was trying to change shape, he was going through a bunch of different animals. That was just one that just stuck out, and it doesn't really affect the plot. He doesn't turn into it. It's just a switch, you know, like in between other things, like Sharkhead. Yeah, that was funny, a bit unexpected. But also, as far as other Easter eggs, I found Wreck-It Ralph. He was in the credits. He was at the very end of the credits as a stitched pattern. Like the rest of the credits were like kind of like this quilt sort of pattern-ish thing. Not quite like a quilt though. But anyways, he was just as a patch in there, and it had basically him with like his arms up like this, and like this like nice outfit or something over its usual attire. I think that's the reference. I don't really think there's anything beyond that. I looked in everywhere in the ocean. I did not find Nemo or Dory or any other ocean wildlife. Speaking of ocean wildlife, I gotta turn that down. The creators of this movie also created a lot of earlier Disney movies, like I think they said Hercules and The Little Mermaid, and I got a lot of Little Mermaid reference in here. Not necessarily like word for word or anything like that, but just how the structure of the story went, and how there was a whole bunch of songs that, you know, have to do with identity. It's really good. Like, honestly, you're gonna love this movie. So what's the movie really about? Let's get into the actual thing itself. Well, it has to do with Moana. She is a Disney princess, probably, technically, yes. She's a princess of this island. It's all inhabited, and, you know, people are living pretty nice there. So, you know, like, they have their own villages. They have lots of food. They have tons of kids and tons of adults, you know, good mix of things. But she's not really up for being a princess, not up for like the next role. She's in the next line of the family tree, you know, as far as chieftain or whatever. So, like, she's more into the ocean. It even shows in the beginning, like, this really, really cute, like, childhood thing that happened with her. Like, it's very basic. Because there was like a whole bunch of seagulls, and they were going after this really tiny turtle. It's so cute. And she just, like, she saw like a seashell by the waves, so she was like trying to decide between that and the turtle. She helped the turtle get to the ocean by just holding a leaf over it, trying to keep it away from the birds. It was so cute. Like, instantly, like in a few minutes. Really cute. And then a couple minutes after that, it got kind of sad. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's starting out so soon with the sadness. But luckily it doesn't last that long to really like keep you from watching the rest of the movie. It does come back a little bit later on, but it's just like, it's like really touching, is the best way to put it. So anyways, there's this myth that I believe her grandmother tells. And her father is just like dismissive of it. She's considered like the crazy old lady of the village. But just like, you know, just because it's like, it's a myth, nothing's wrong, everything's fine. But she has a myth that has to do with this special stone that was taken from the island where the goddess of creation, she created all the ocean and different islands and sea creatures and humans and things. And then she took a rest and became one of the islands. But since then, she's had this stone, which to any user allows them to create whatever they want, as long as they know how to use it, I guess. So, anyways, Maui, among many different monsters and things, tries to take the stone for himself, but it pretty much causes havoc everywhere, because it's like, without that stone in the island, now there's like a lava monster, and I think it was called Tahiki, and there's like all these different islands are either disappearing or plants are dying. Even at the island where Moana is situated, plants start dying off. It's crazy. So Moana sets out. I mean, first of all, when she's a little child and like taking care of the sea turtle, the ocean chose her from like a really early age to be like the receiver of the stone, because the stone got lost. Maui also got lost at some point, as well as his big fish hook, which allows him to change shape. He also controls the winds, and it used to be a savior for people. He's got a really great backstory. I'm not going to spoil it here, but it actually turns the tides, no pun intended, it turns the tides of the entire myth on its head. But it still makes sense from his perspective, and it's like, well, yeah, he's kind of selfish still, but he didn't, want to be completely selfish, but it's like, you still gotta turn it, So, he and Moana team up. They have to, return the stone back to the island. They have to get past Tahiki, this big lava monster, in order to do so. And it's really, really well done. The effects in this movie, I mean, it's all CG, yes, but the effects in this movie were far superior than anything I've seen of late. I mean, Doctor Strange is probably the closest contender. It's so good. I love all the water effects. I love all the lava effects. It's so well done. It was fantastic just for looking at it. Or they would have a couple shots where it would just be Moana would be on top of an island for a bit, and it would just do this pan across the ocean, and just looks so beautiful. I love the look of it. It's so much to take in, and it's so worth it. I also forgot to mention, there was a short before the movie, I think it was called Inner Workings or something like that. I don't remember exactly what the name was, but basically the short had to do with how the inner, your organs work, but doing it in a very cartoony, friendly way. And what I find interesting about it is there's this guy, Paul. I swore, when he first showed up on screen, I thought he was going to be the guy from Up, because he had this big squarish face like the guy in Up did, but he doesn't. So anyways, this guy, Paul, he has a mundane job at a place that's called Boring and Dull Company or something like that. So, but anyways, there's this struggle between the heart and the mind, and it's so symbolic, and it's so good, because it really shows the mind is I gotta keep this guy safe from harm, I gotta just go about my day and do what I need to do, and the heart's but no, there's all this world out here, there's so much to explore and do and interact with people, it's worth taking a step away from that, and it's so well done. I really love the shorts because they just know how to hit it without using a lot of dialogue. And they do it right. They do really well with it. So Moana, I recommend it. I'd recommend it twice. I would love to see this movie again. And not just because it's I gotta find all these Easter eggs. No, it's just so good to look at. You have to look at it twice, because there's so much to take in. Everything about it was fantastic. There was actually a scene where you get to see a whole bunch of the sea monsters. Very creative designs. And one or two of them were actually kind of scary. I jumped a little bit in my seat when I first saw them, because there was like this monster, like you had to like, it's inside of a big island, and you have to like dive from the top to go into it, and then when Moana lands, she gets like picked up by something, and then it just zooms out to this like lime green creature with a really big tongue, and it was, for the moment, really creepy looking. And I was like, like I said, I was a bit scared by it, but I also thought it was pretty cool. Like, just how they do that. Or even, like, there was this crab that was later on that's how you find the fish hook for Maui. When it got lost, there was a certain crab that had it. And he also had a whole bunch of glittery, golden objects on him, and he liked being shiny. But there was one part when he was doing a song. By the way, the songs are fantastic. Not just like for the ones about being identity, but just the ones like for every character. It was so nice to flesh them out through song, and it's just so bright, so colorful. And then you have this crab that's like, okay, yeah, it's shiny, I get it. But then there was one point in the song where he like closes some sort of like rock or something above, so it gets dark. And you have a whole nother look at this crap. It's so scary at first, but it's so cool. Because there's like all these really cool markings. They're like blue and like magenta or something. It was really nice to see it. This is a great movie to look at, but I think it's also a good movie just, lesson-wise. I know I gushed a lot about the visuals, but the actual story itself is really nice. You have Moana trying to find her identity, being either a chieftain or being, trying to save the world with the stone. You have Maui, who, I'm not going to spoil what his life was like before that, but the motivation for him, for taking the stone in the first place and causing all the corruption, fighting that, like, attention and affection. He's not, like, arrogant or anything. He's just, not as loved. So he's just looking for attention, to get like, some sort of, appreciation or whatever you want to call it. Fighting that and saving the world, does the fish hook make him a deity? Because he, like, really gets attached to that. He's like, this is my source of power. This is, what makes me, without it, I'm useless, kind of. So nice to see that. Also, the rooster, I think it was called Hey Hey. That's how they pronounced it, because I wasn't sure if it was He or Hey Hey. The movie obviously clarified it's Hey Hey. So funny. There was a lot of really funny lines with all the characters in the movie. I mean, a lot of it does focus on Moana and this rooster Hey Hey and Maui himself. But it's so well done. I also love a lot of the musical numbers in the beginning, because just like the interaction, like the nice flow with all the villagers. Really well done. I love this movie. I can't tell you enough how much I love this movie. I know I said I love it a lot for the visuals, but I also love it a lot for the story itself and the lessons that it's teaching. And even there's one character that keeps appearing, and it was part of a sad moment at the beginning, and a sad moment a little bit later, but sad, but like joyful, and just like, it's so good for that character to be around. It was so nice to see it reoccur. The only problem that I have with the movie, if anything, is the waves. Because the waves, like I said, shows Moana to receive the stone, and also helps her find Maui, and also helps both of them and Hey Hey to get to the island where they need to go to save the world and all that. The waves are inconsistent. Like, they're good for comedic timing, and they were good for a couple other little things here and there, and especially good towards the ending. But there was a whole bunch of points where it's like, well, couldn't she just do that with the waves, or is it supposed to be a lesson of like, no, she has to do it on her own? Which I could respect that if that's what it's supposed to be. But there's a whole bunch of points where it's like, she was like really far away from the boat, and it's like, it looks like far enough that she can't really swim back to the boat. So why didn't the waves come in and help with that? Or she even makes note of it at one point where there's like a big storm, and she gets shipwrecked, and that's how she winds up with Maui. I could say yes, the waves helped her with that, but it almost looked like, at least from her perspective, at the moment, the waves weren't helping at all for, like, you know, keeping them away from the storm or whatever it may be. So it was good, but, you know, it was I love this movie. It's so good. I haven't loved a Disney princess movie in a long time, since maybe The Little Mermaid. And though I have not seen 1 or 2 Disney princess movies, or it's been a while since I've seen a bunch of them, but this one really works really well. Moana comes into her own in this movie. It's so good. So, I think I've gushed about it enough. So, thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Somebody's angry behind me, throwing their hands up, and it's like, alright, fine, I'll move. So, I'll be on my way. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen this movie. What do you think about it? And did I exaggerate any details? And for a couple of things that are spoilers, what did you think? But try not to give away the spoilers. Just, you know, whatever emotions you felt or whatever it may be. Because it was a rush of things. It was good. Honestly, I did say, you know, there were a bunch of scary parts, but it's like they're only scary for like a moment. And it gets brushed away pretty quickly. It's just some fear is objective. So, you know. So we'll see you next time with more videos. Hopefully some more movie reviews. Hopefully some other videos. I've been trying to work on a bunch of different videos for a while. Just trying to play around with different editings and such. This is easier for me to make, so I just have to talk throughout the whole thing. I don't really need fancy visuals or whatever. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the movie. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next time on Joe the Maniac. Oh, by the way, before I forget, there is a post-credits scene. It's a little joke. It's funny, and you're welcome. You'll know when you see the movie. You'll know what I mean by you're welcome. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, like, one of the funniest parts, in my opinion, for the movie was there was a scene where they're on the boat, they're out at sea, and they don't quite get along yet. So Maui and Moana just like had a little fight, and Maui just keeps like tossing Moana off the boat. And then the waves come in, and they just swoop her back up onto the boat, like in the same spot or behind him. It's just really funny because it reminds me of Doctor Strange. And that's still fresh in my mind, so I was like waiting for something to happen and be like, I've come to make a bargain. If that's not gift, it will be gift. And there was even another moment, I think it was before that, where, Maui's sailing away with the boat, and Moana is trying to, like, chase after him. She jumps off of a cliff. It looks like she's going, like, right towards the boat, but she splats right behind it. And Maui says, I could watch that all day. And I imagine that's going to be another GIF, because it's really funny just for, like, the dramatic build-up and then the splat. Like, so close, it's so far. And just his reaction, just like, yeah, whatever. So, yeah, that's great. Please watch this movie. This is amazing. It's up there with, like, one of my favorite Pixar movies ever. And for a while, WALL-E was, like, if it wasn't #1, it was #2. So it was that good and has been stayed there for a while. This is getting up there. This is, like, right behind it, if not next to it. So, yeah, it's really good. I also wanted to mention that the voice of Moana, I don't know her name, but she did a really good job. Like, so much effort was put into her character. So much was done through the voice. It's really good. And that's just about it. I think I'm actually done. I never really thought I would stop talking about this movie, but now I'm done.